2 billion people face water scarcity by 2030, 4 years away. Blue gold becomes more valuable than black gold as nations fight for control over rivers, aquifers, and reservoirs. Water wars aren't coming, they're already here. China built dams choking rivers flowing into India. Turkey controls water flowing into Syria and Iraq. Israel and Palestine fight over Jordan River access. Each conflict follows identical pattern throughout history. Welcome to Financial Shadows, exposing water war patterns threatening global stability. 3 distinct water conflicts reveal how nations weaponize blue gold. Middle East battles over rivers. China's dam warfare against neighbors. America's hidden aquifer depletion crisis. Water represents ultimate strategic resource. Armies require water. Cities require water. Agriculture requires water. Control water, and you control populations completely. Ancient empires understood this millennia ago. Here's what mainstream media won't tell you about global water conflicts. Wealthy nations secure water supplies decades ahead, while developing countries face catastrophic shortages. China diverts Mekong River, affecting 60 million downstream. United States depletes Ogallala Aquifer, threatening entire agricultural heartland. Middle East nations fight endless wars over dwindling water sources. The water war mechanism stays simple but devastating. Upstream nation builds dams controlling flow. Downstream nations face agricultural collapse and population displacement. Upstream nation gains enormous geopolitical leverage overnight. Pattern repeats globally across every continent. Blue gold scarcity drives mass migration already. Syria's drought contributed to civil war outbreak. Cape Town nearly ran completely dry recently. India and Pakistan dispute Kashmir partly for water access. These conflicts intensify dramatically as climate change accelerates water stress. 3 water war patterns emerge clearly. First involves upstream dam construction, controlling international rivers. Second employs aquifer depletion, exhausting underground reserves. Third uses desalination technology, creating water independence for wealthy coastal nations. The 2026 timeline matters critically. UN projects water demand exceeding supply by 40% globally. Conflicts over blue gold escalate from economic disputes to military confrontations. Nations recognize water scarcity threatens survival itself. Which nation controls your water supply? Comment below. Most answers wrong.
2 billion facing scarcity. How does water become weapon? Understanding blue gold geopolitics explains everything about modern conflicts. Water wars start with simple geography. Rivers cross borders naturally. Upstream nations control flow. Downstream nations depend completely. Power imbalance creates conflict inevitably. 3 factors transform water into weapon. First, scarcity increases competition. Second, population growth multiplies demand. Third, climate change reduces supply. Result? Nations fighting over every drop. The mechanics work predictably. Upstream country builds massive dam. Water flow downstream decreases dramatically. Agriculture collapses. Cities face shortages. Downstream nation must negotiate from weakness. Subscribe right now because water conflicts affect everyone globally. Hit that like button. You're learning early or suffering later. No middle ground exists. International water law remains weak intentionally. No enforcement mechanisms exist. Upstream nations ignore downstream complaints. UN resolutions lack teeth completely. Might makes right in water wars. Aquifers present different challenge. Underground water reserves shared across borders. Invisible resource. Each nation pumps maximum amounts. Nobody knows depletion rates accurately. Resource exhausted before anyone notices. Desalination technology changes game for wealthy coastal nations. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Israel invest billions. Energy intensive but provides independence. Poor, landlocked nations can't afford it. Water scarcity drives three responses: military conflict over sources, mass migration from dry regions, technological solutions for rich nations. Pattern creates global instability. Which water war worries you most? China dams, Middle East rivers, or U.S. aquifer depletion? Comment below.
Middle East water wars shaped regional conflicts for decades. Jordan River, Euphrates, Tigris, Nile. Every major river becomes battlefield. Israel and Palestine fight over Jordan River control since 1948. River provides 40% of Israel's fresh water. Palestinian access severely restricted. Water disputes fuel broader territorial conflicts continuously. Six-Day War, 1967, partially fought over water. Israel captured Golan Heights, controlling Jordan River headwaters. Captured West Bank, controlling mountain aquifer. Military victory secured water dominance permanently. Turkey controls Euphrates and Tigris rivers flowing into Syria and Iraq. Built 22 dams, reducing downstream flow dramatically. Syria and Iraq agricultural output collapsed. Millions displaced. Turkey gains enormous leverage over neighbors. Egypt depends completely on Nile River. Ethiopia built Grand Renaissance Dam upstream. Egypt threatened military action multiple times. Negotiations ongoing, but tensions extreme. Egypt views dam as existential threat. The pattern repeats identically. Upstream nation builds infrastructure. Downstream nations suffer immediately. Diplomatic protests ignored. Military threats considered. Water becomes more valuable than oil. Syria's drought, 2006 to 2010, contributed to civil war outbreak. Agricultural collapse forced rural migration. Cities overwhelmed. Social instability exploded. Water scarcity preceded political chaos. Middle East demonstrates water war consequences clearly. Population displacement, agricultural devastation, political instability, military conflicts. Patterns spreading globally now. Yemen faces complete water exhaustion soon. Sana'a becoming first capital running dry. 15 million Yemenis lack clean water access. Comment which Middle East water conflict shocks you most. Jordan River, Euphrates, or Nile Dam?
China weaponizes water on massive scale. Built 11 dams on Mekong River. Controls flow affecting 60 million people downstream across 5 nations. Mekong flows through China, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. Chinese dams in Tibet control entire river system. Downstream nations completely dependent. China turns water on and off strategically. 2019 drought devastated Southeast Asia. Mekong hit lowest levels in century. But Chinese reservoirs remained full. China controlled flow while neighbors suffered. Agricultural output collapsed. Fish populations crashed. 40 million faced crisis. Brahmaputra River presents India threat. Flows from Tibet through India into Bangladesh. China building massive dams upstream. India fears Beijing could divert water or release floods, weaponizing river completely. The scale, staggering. China plans constructing 60,000 dams total. Controls water flowing into 12 countries. Gains unprecedented geopolitical leverage. Downstream nations protest but lack options. China's dam strategy serves multiple purposes: hydroelectric power generation, flood control domestically, agricultural irrigation, most importantly, complete control over neighbors' water supplies. Satellite data reveals Chinese manipulation. Upstream reservoirs fill while downstream suffers. Flow released strategically, benefiting Chinese interests. Environmental disaster for Southeast Asia. Mekong Delta produces 17% of global rice. 40 million depend on river for livelihood. Chinese dams threaten entire regional food security. Vietnam and Cambodia face catastrophic consequences. India considers military options if China diverts Brahmaputra. Nuclear powers facing water war. Stakes couldn't be higher. China's dam warfare reshapes Asian geopolitics entirely. Comment your view. China's right to development or water warfare? No easy answers exist.
America faces hidden water crisis threatening entire agricultural heartland. Ogallala Aquifer depleting rapidly. Supplies water to 8 states, producing 1/5 of U.S. agriculture. Ogallala Aquifer underlies 174,000 square miles from South Dakota to Texas. Formed over millions of years, Americans pumped it down 70% in 50 years. Depletion rate accelerating dramatically. Kansas, Nebraska, Texas farmers depend completely on Ogallala. Irrigates wheat, corn, cattle feed. Aquifer dropping 3 feet annually in some areas. Wells running dry. Agricultural collapse approaching. California's Central Valley faces identical crisis. Groundwater pumped unsustainably for decades. Land subsiding. Infrastructure cracking. Water table dropped hundreds of feet. Agriculture threatened severely. Colorado River supplies 40 million people. Las Vegas, Phoenix, Los Angeles depend on it. River flow decreased 20% since 2000. Lake Mead and Lake Powell at historic lows. 7 states fighting over remaining water. The American Southwest built on fantasy. Desert cities expecting infinite water. Reality arriving harshly. California restricts usage. Arizona limits development. Nevada faces existential threat. Corporate agriculture accelerates depletion. Pumps water growing almonds in deserts. Exports virtual water internationally while domestic supplies crash. Short-term profits over long-term sustainability. Solutions exist theoretically. Drip irrigation, crop selection changes, desalination for coasts, but implementation slow, political will lacking. Crisis deepens while debate continues. America demonstrates wealthy nation vulnerability. Technology and money can't create water. Physics and geology determine limits. Even superpowers face blue-gold scarcity eventually. Your state facing water crisis? Check aquifer levels. Truth shocks most Americans completely. 3 water war patterns converging 2026. Middle East conflicts intensifying. China dam warfare escalating. American aquifer exhaustion accelerating. Perfect storm approaching. UN projects 40% global water deficit by 2026. Demand exceeds supply catastrophically. 2 billion people, severe scarcity. 4 billion facing shortages. Crisis unprecedented in human history. Climate change accelerates everything. Glaciers melting, eliminating river sources. Droughts intensifying. Rainfall patterns shifting unpredictably. Agricultural zones collapsing. Migration waves forming. Water wars trigger cascading failures. Agriculture collapses first. Food prices spike. Urban populations panic. Mass migration begins. Political instability explodes. Military conflicts erupt. The 2026 timeline matters critically. Multiple crisis points converging simultaneously. Ogallala Aquifer exhaustion. Mekong Delta collapse. Middle East conflicts escalating. Perfect conditions for global catastrophe. Wealthy nations adapt through technology.
desalination plants, water recycling systems, agricultural efficiency. Poor nations lack resources. Billions face displacement and starvation. Corporate control increases dramatically. Water privatization accelerates. Nestle, Suez, Veolia control supplies. Blue gold becomes tradable commodity. Access determined by wealth, not need. Geopolitical power shifts toward water-rich nations. Canada, Russia, Brazil gain influence. Water-scarce nations lose sovereignty. Blue gold replaces oil as strategic resource. Military planning recognizes water wars inevitable. Pentagon identifies water scarcity as threat multiplier. China militarizes upstream infrastructure. India develops rapid response capabilities. Arms race over rivers. Pattern clear throughout history. Resource scarcity triggers conflict. Water scarcity threatens survival. 2026 represents inflection point. Prepare or perish. Which crisis hits first? Comment prediction. Middle East explosion, Asian war, or American collapse.
3 water war patterns exposed. Middle East river conflicts. China dam warfare. U.S. aquifer depletion. Blue gold scarcity reshaping geopolitics completely. Understanding patterns provides advantage. Knowledge empowers preparation. Water wars affect everyone eventually. Positioning determines survival. National-level solutions require political will. Invest water infrastructure. Implement conservation policies. Develop desalination capacity. Protect aquifers. Most governments ignore crisis until too late. Personal-level preparation matters critically. Reduce consumption immediately. Install efficient fixtures. Capture rainwater where legal. Relocate from water-stressed regions eventually. Investment opportunities exist paradoxically. Water technology companies, desalination infrastructure, agricultural efficiency solutions. Blue gold becomes investment class like gold. Geographic positioning crucial long-term. Water-rich regions gain value. Great Lakes states, Pacific Northwest, Canada. Populations migrate toward water inevitably. Political awareness essential. Vote for water conservation. Oppose privatization. Demand infrastructure investment. Corporate control threatens access for billions. The investigation complete. Water wars pattern clear. Upstream nations weaponize dams. Aquifers deplete. Scarcity drives conflict. 2026 crisis point approaching. Financial shadows revealed blue gold patterns. 3 conflicts demonstrate mechanism. Middle East historical precedent. China current warfare. America hidden depletion. Future determined by water access. Your survival depends on water security. Ignore crisis or prepare intelligently. Geography determines fate. Blue gold trumps black gold entirely. Comment your water security level. Safe region or crisis zone? Honest assessment saves lives.